Hello everyone, and happy Wednesday. It's July 16th, and you're listening to me, Sun Na. Today, I'm super excited to pull a really cool trending article from the archives for us to talk about. It's called SynthGuard, Redefining Synthetic Data Generation with a Scalable and Privacy Preserving and Workflow Framework. You can find it at the Pearl arcsub.org/slash/APS/2507.10,489. I know it's a super long title, but trust me, what it's about is actually incredibly important and affects us all. So, let's dive in, okay? So picture this. You have all these amazing organizations, like hospitals, banks, and even police departments. They collect tons and tons of data every single day. And this data is like a treasure chest for making things better. For example, hospital data can help researchers find cures for diseases. Bank data can help stop fraud. And police data can help make our cities safer. But here's the big problem. This data is super sensitive and personal. It's about our health, our money, our lives. And there are super strict rules, like the GDPR in Europe, that say you can't just share this data with anyone, which makes total sense. You need our privacy protected. This creates a huge dilemma. How can we use this valuable data for good without risking anyone's privacy? It's a tough problem that can really slow down innovation. Well, that's where this paper's topic comes in. Synthetic data generation. It sounds super futuristic, right? Basically, instead of using real data, you use AI to create brand new, completely artificial data. This synthetic data looks and feels just like the real thing. It has the same statistical patterns and trends, but with one crucial difference. None of the data points correspond to a real person. It's all made up. This is way better than older methods, like just removing names and addresses from a file. Because clever people have shown that even with it, it's sometimes possible to reassign individuals. Yikes! Synthetic data offers much stronger privacy protection. But, there's still a catch with how it's usually done. To create this awesome synthetic data, an organization often has to send its original, super sensitive data to an outside company or cloud server, and that's like a huge security risk. The data leaves its safe home, which makes everyone nervous. So, this is the exact problem the SynthGuard paper tackles. It introduces a new framework called SynthGuard that completely changes the game. The core idea is something called data sovereignty. It's a fancy term, but it just means the data owner. So the hospital or the bank always stays in complete control of their data. The sensitive, real data never ever has to leave their own secure computers. How cool is that? The data gets to stay home, safe and sound. SynthGuard works like a set of building blocks, or maybe like a recipe book. It provides a bunch of modular tools. A data scientist can use these blocks to design a custom workflow or a pipeline to creating the perfect synthetic data. This recipe, called the pipeline specification, is then given to the data owner. They only can check the recipe to make sure it's safe, and then run it inside their own secure environment. SynthGuard even helps manage the whole process using pool tech, like Kubeflow and Kubernetes. And the best part? The framework automatically includes steps to check the final product. It evaluates the synthetic data's utility to make sure it's actually useful for research. And it evaluates its privacy to make sure no sensitive information could possibly leak out. Let's think about some real-world applications, because this is where it gets really exciting. Imagine a hospital wants to help researchers develop AI that can detect cancer earlier from medical scans. With SynthGuard, the hospital can generate thousands of realistic, but totally fake medical scans Researchers all over the world can then use this safe data to train your AI models without ever seeing a real patient's file. This could speed up medical breakthroughs like crazy. Or think about a bank. They want to build a better system to detect fraudulent transactions. They can use SynthGuard to create a massive dataset of synthetic financial transactions. They could even share the safe data with other banks to work together on fighting crime, all without exposing a single customer's account details. Then for law enforcement, this is huge. They can create synthetic crime reports to study patterns and train officers or AI systems. This helps them do their jobs better while following all the strict laws about protecting the privacy of everyone involved. This whole idea of keeping data secure and trustworthy reminds me a lot of another super important field, cryptography. The paper doesn't talk about it directly, but the goals are totally related. Cryptography is all about protecting information using codes. Let me give you a few examples of how it's used every day. First, there's secure communications. You know when you go to your online bank website and you see that little padlock icon in the address bar? That's thanks to something called solar tolls. It creates a secret, encrypted tunnel between your computer and the bank. So, even if a hacker was listening in, all they would see is a bunch of scrambled nonsense. Everything you type is kept private. Second, there's data encryption. This is technology that protects the contents of files and databases. Maybe you have an encrypted hard drive on your laptop. If someone stole your laptop, they wouldn't be able to read your files because they're all scrambled without your password. This is so important for the original data that SynthGuard works with. That real, sensitive data has to be kept encrypted and protected at all times. And the third one is digital signatures. A digital signature is like a high-tech, unforgeable seal that proves that a document or a message really came from the person who sent it, and that it hasn't been tampered with along the way. This builds trust. And that's exactly what SynthGuard does with its pipeline specifications. They're like a trusted, verifiable recipe for creating data. So, to wrap it all up, SynthGuard is a huge step forward. It lets us unlock the power of data for science, security, and innovation, while putting privacy and control first. It's about building a system where we can share insights without sharing secrets. And that's a future I think we can all be excited about. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.